What are acids? Well, acids taste sour. They are found in many substances which we use in our daily life. For example, tomato sauce. It contains citric acid. Secondly, milk. It contains lactic acid. Thirdly, orange. It contains citric acid. Fourthly, vinegar. It contains acetic acid. Fifthly, lemon. It also contains citric acid. So different substances contain different types of acids. What about the solubility of acids? Usually, all acids are soluble in the water. For example, lemon contains citric acid and it is soluble in water. Vinegar contains acetic acid and it is also soluble in water. What about the indicator test of acids? Well, there are different indicators used to test the presence of acids like phenolphthalein and methyl orange. But the most simple and easy test is litmus paper. Acids turn blue litmus paper red. Let me repeat it. Acids turn blue litmus paper red. Thus remember that acids taste sour. Different substances which we use in our daily life contains different acids. Acids are also soluble in water and they turn blue litmus paper red. Now what are bases? Well, bases taste bitter and they are also found in many substances which we use in our daily life. For example, liquid soap. It contains potassium hydroxide. Secondly, baking soda. It contains sodium bicarbonate. Thirdly, bar soap. It contains sodium hydroxide. Fourthly, detergents. They contain ammonia. Fifthly, washing powder. They contain sodium hydroxide. So different substances contain different bases. What about the solubility of bases? Well, some bases are not soluble in water. Bases that are soluble in water are also called alkalis. For example, sodium hydroxide in the soup is soluble in the water. So sodium hydroxide is a base as well as alkali. Now what about the indicator test of bases? Again, we can use different indicators to test the presence of bases. But the simple test is litmus paper. Bases turn red litmus paper blue. Let me repeat it. Bases turn red litmus paper blue. Thus remember that bases taste bitter. Different substances which we use in our daily life contain different types of bases. Bases that are soluble in water are also called alkalis. And bases turns red litmus paper blue. Finally, what are salts? Well, salts taste salty, but different salts may taste different. Salts are formed in the neutralization reaction of acids and bases. Now, what is the neutralization reaction of acids and bases? Well, consider hydrochloric acid, HCl plus sodium hydroxide, NaOH. HCl is an acid and sodium hydroxide is a base. When this acid and base react with each other, they form sodium chloride and water. Sodium chloride is formed from the reaction of acid and base, and this reaction is called neutralization reaction because acid and bases neutralize each other. So this sodium chloride is called salt. Sodium chloride is also commonly known as a table salt. One another example of salt is calcium carbonate, and it is also commonly known as a chalk. What about the solubility of salts? Well, salt are of two types, soluble in water and insoluble in water. For example, sodium chloride or table salt is soluble in water. So this salt is soluble in water, while calcium carbonate or chalk is insoluble in water. What about the indicator test of salts? Well, salt can neither turn red litmus paper blue nor can turn blue litmus paper red. The color of either litmus paper remains constant in the salt. Thus remember that salts are formed in the neutralization reaction of acids and bases like sodium chloride or table salt. Secondly, salts may be or may be not soluble in the water. Thirdly, remember that salts can neither change the color of blue or red litmus paper. I hope that you have learned the concept of acids, bases, and salts.
Character. So it's a neutralization. So first of all, we would like to know about the definition. So what is reaction? Acid reacts with base. యాసిడ్ బేస్తో రియాక్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఏం ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది? సాల్ట్ వాటర్ని ఫామ్ చేస్తుంది. సింపుల్గా ఇలా రాయండి. ఎగ్జామ్లో డీటెయిల్డ్గా రాయకపోయినా మీకు మార్క్స్ ఇచ్చేస్తారు. సో ద రియాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ అన్ యాసిడ్ విత్ బేస్ టు గివ్ సాల్ట్ అండ్ వాటర్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ న్యూట్రలైజేషన్ రియాక్షన్. సో నేను తెలుగులో కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను మీకు నీట్గా అర్థం అవడానికి. సో ద రియాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ అన్ యాసిడ్ ప్లస్ బేస్ టు గివ్ సాల్ట్ వాటర్. ఏం ఫామ్ అవుతుంది? యాసిడ్ బేస్ రియాక్ట్ అయితే సాల్ట్ వాటర్ వస్తుంది. సో దాన్ని ఈక్వేషన్లో చూపించాలి. యాసిడ్ ప్లస్ బేస్ గివ్స్ సాల్ట్ ప్లస్ వాటర్. అండ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూద్దాము. హైడ్రోక్లోరిక్ యాసిడ్. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అన్ యాసిడ్, దిస్ ఈజ్ అన్ బేస్. NaOH is a base. Acid reacts with a base. So what is an acid? Hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide reacts with each other to give a sodium chloride, salt and water. So this is an neutralization reaction. So దీన్ని మనం ఒక ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ ద్వారా కూడా చూడొచ్చు. ఎలాగా అంటే లెట్ us see the experiment. Take a test tube and it is filled with the 2 ml of NaOH. So test tube